it. However, we've witnessed it all season long through 26 games. They pitch Brady. He was looking to get the block there, took a pretty good hit initially, and he'll be stopped after a pickup of about 5. Number 2, Mike Lavis is there. Lavis involved in just about every play offensively and defensively.
Also Don Durbin, number 98, 6 foot, 237-pound senior. He's really the catalyst that holds that defensive line together.
He's got the great number for it too. Don't you just love 98? You know, that's the big guy. That's the guy inside to do it.
Well, actually, the other part of it is those are usually the biggest jerseys.
True.
And he is 240 pounds.
3rd down and 5. Great cut by Christensen across midfield.
Got a flag.
Late flag goes down as we check that out. Let's go down to Lee Hall. Lee?
All right, Dave, thanks a lot. We're on the Lockport sideline. I've noticed a lot of the guys on the sidelines are wearing number 21 on their helmets. That's in honor of their teammate James Sendera, junior halfback. He was injured in a car accident on Thanksgiving Day. He is still, at last check, in a coma. So the thoughts and prayers of his teammates and of us, our thoughts and prayers go out to James Sendera and his family as he tries to come back from that automobile accident. Back upstairs.
Thank you very much, Lee. Not a happy story, but we certainly echo Lee's sentiments. This penalty goes against Lockport. We'll get the call right here.
Now, initially we thought it was a roughing when the quarterback went out of bounds, but it must have been a hit with somebody else.
We have a dead ball. Personal foul, White. First down, White.
That must have happened well after the play had gone out of bounds. In fact, it was a late flag, but nevertheless, it's a first down. The ball goes back to the Lockport 40-yard line. 7:53 to play in the first half. Tied 13. You look at the score right there, and that's about as close as we've been all the way. A couple of field goals for Lockport, then a touchdown by Jake Christensen. On the other side, it's been a touchdown run by Nick Rice, and then the long pass from Price to Walsh. Looking for Cadlick. The ball sails, incomplete. Lockport fans want interference. That ball was
well out of bounds.
Yep. Once again, on the coverage, Louis Borsellino, and you start thinking, well, you wonder whether the Porters are looking at number 1. See number 18, Steve Trudy, right there. But Borsellino's been involved in a lot of plays from his defensive cornerback position.
We're just throwing. He's isolating him out here with that little pump fake, but he's using the side. You can see how he squeezes him. He's just turning his body. That's a legitimate play. Those that are booing don't know. That's a legit. He's looking up for the ball. He just squeezed him out of bounds ever so gently.
Pocket collapses around Christensen.
Yep.
Turnover goes to Maine South. Mike Lavis comes up with it.
Now he's coming again from the blind side. On the back side, Mike Lavis, 6'3", 208 pounds. Right now, you'll see just as he steps up, he reaches. As Christensen was going to go upfield, he reaches up as he's about to throw it. Right there, knocks it down and falls right on top of it. What a great play.
Such great speed from that defensive end position. You know, and that's something that Christensen and other quarterbacks that have played Maine South this year are not accustomed to seeing.
But Mike Lavis has 20 sacks, so you know that they should be doubling up or certainly looking at his size.
The Hawks looking to capitalize. Here comes DeSico. 5 different Porters sandwich him down. Ryan Kuntz, number 9 there, along with A.J. Carroll, the strong safety, number 54.
See, that's a great play. That's a bubble screen outside. It's a great play if it goes bang, bang. What happened was they didn't do a good job of blocking on the perimeter, which allowed the linebackers a pursuit to get over there. What you want to do is get it to him quickly so he gets up the field and runs away from all the help inside.
Price, time, over the middle, got his man, Walsh. He has the first down inside the 20. 14 yards and the completion from Price to Derek Walsh.
Now again, that's basically the same play that he threw before for a touchdown. He delayed, he looked outside, and then Walsh delayed and came underneath the coverage, right up the seam. Good throw by Sean Price.
Lavis, the lone receiver. He'll go to the right. 3 to the left.
Man coverage again. Screen.
Rice goes down quickly. Lockport had that one smelled out nicely. Number 98, Evan Mitchell, was right there along with Ryan Coots.
That was a great job of reaction by the Lockport defensive line. They smelled that out right away. Shaw, Mitchell, Finnegan all got over there and smelled it out. When the quarterback drops that fast without any pressure, you teach defensive linemen something's wrong. Not putting pressure on him, he's dropping that fast. You look for screen.
Now Rice will leave the field. His helmet off just before he got to the sidelines, and it will be a little bit of an equipment adjustment for Nick Rice, who has a touchdown run tonight. Hit the midway point of quarter number 2.
First time we've seen this formation from Maine South. Doubles on both sides.
Over the middle.
Oh, that's interference. Yes, it is.
It was Brian Schlitter that was interfered with. Schlitter had that big reception earlier to set up a Maine South score. Now, when you run all those crossing patterns, there's a lot of traffic in the middle of the field, and that's what happened here with Schlitter.
Well, the whole idea is for it that when you're in man coverage to pick off the other guy's man. You can see it right here. That's exactly what he does. He literally blocks him, doesn't allow him to get into the route, and the ball is in the air.
Pass interference, white, automatic first.
Now, if the ball's not thrown and he had done that, that's a whole different story. But the ball was already released. Pass interference.
First and goal inside the 10.
A.J. Carroll, number 54 of Lockport.
Maine South looking for the go-ahead score.
Got an audible coming here. He's still got time. He's got 12 seconds on the clock.
Into the end zone, touchdown, Alberto DeSico.
What a throw. That was absolutely incredible. He just drilled that ball right on the money.
The 11th touchdown catch of the year for DeSico. The 55th touchdown thrown by Price. The quick release from the junior. And Maine South has taken a 19-13 lead.
That was just an unbelievable throw.
Knight for the extra point. Sophomore Drew. It's a 7-point difference.
You know, he's looking off right here, and he just puts the ball right on the money. What this was is a spin out. The receiver ran a post, planted, and spun back out 2 steps. And when he planted, the ball was already in the air. And when he got his 2 steps, the ball was right on his left-hand shoulder, away from the defender. What a great throw, a great catch, a great route. Tremendous execution.
And that is why Maine South 13-0 and have just been rolling up the points, averaging 49.5 points in the playoffs. Sean Price is given the freedom to make the play calls, the changes of play at the line, and then the guy executes.
I was going to say, you have any reason to doubt why a kid like that with that kind of ability would not have the choice to make those calls?
Lockport High School in Lockport, Illinois. It's Will County. Enrollment at 3180, the Sitka Blue Conference. Maine South out of the Central Suburban South. Park Ridge is where they call home. Enrollment at 24-25. They grow up wanting to be Hawks in Park Ridge. They lead it 20-13. Kick deep and deep enough to bring it out to the 20. So Maine South takes advantage of the turnover forced and then recovered by Mike Lavis. The fumble by Jake Christensen. They converted to 7.
You know, last week I was watching Lockport play, and I like to talk to the kids because you get a feel for the team and the enthusiasm. And I talked to a girl. I was on the girls cross country team, and her name was Nicole Montagno. And she said that the school was so psyched up and enthusiastic about coming down to the state championship for the second year in a row that they had a tough time in studies all week. Oh, great defensive play right there.
That's Tony Zur, number 20, that just cut in front of Rago. Zur, 5'8", 152-pounder, makes the play here.
Again, this is just a go route right down the sideline, and the defender just makes an excellent play right here, staying right on his hip. Stay underneath him, on his hip, and use the sideline as another defender and squeeze him out of bounds. Excellent defensive play.
You also saw number 8, Mike Bello, in your picture. He was right there as well. 2nd down and 10.
Quarterback draw.
Christensen close to the first down. Boy, and recall that first down at the other end of the field to our right that Lockport did not get earlier on. This one is a first down. I think they would have traded. I think they would have traded, coming up a little short here. There's Jake Christensen's numbers early. In terms of percentage, he's a 50% passer on the season. He's a shade underneath that here tonight.
The last couple of weeks that I've seen them play, he actually, and not in defense of those particular stats, but he has come on extremely strong in the second half.
He admits that he has a little jitters early on. He'll do it again. He was one step away, but then Trudy said that's about it.
What's happening is they're going to man coverage and they're matching up the linebackers on the running back, and there's nobody taking the quarterback. So consequently, when he runs a draw, it's wide open if we can block the defensive line. And that's what happened on the last couple of calls.
For just about any other team in the state last year, Christensen would have been the starting quarterback as a sophomore, but he had a young man named Steve Walker.
That was pretty good.
He was awfully good. He led Lockport to the state championship. 2 yards to a first down. Boy, he stays in the pocket nicely and delivers. Rago, a catch. Eric Rago makes his 2nd catch of the night.
Well, Sean Price just tied the Class 8A record with 2 touchdown passes. Ties the record that I believe Naperville Central held, and also Mike Cazzoni from Downers Grove South. Horvath and from Naperville Central, Mike Cazzoni from Downers Grove South. That record was just tied by Sean Price. There's a shot of head coach of Lockport, Brett Coy.
First down for the Porters. All day for Christensen. Flag down.
Interference.
And now it's Maine South fans' turn to bark at the officials. Randy Griffin was the intended receiver, and that flag goes down at about the 33-yard line. We'll take a look.
The other thing is, I was just amazed at the poise that Jake Christensen showed right there. Look at him, little happy feet, just keeping him going till his receiver breaks open, and he's thrown into a very strong wind right here.
Well, Griffin made the catch. That was a great catch here by Griffin on the fingertips. Well, look at this.
Right here, does he have possession?
Oh.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Well, we have the benefit, obviously, of that.
We have defensive pass interference on Black, decry, first down White.
So they do give Griffin credit for the reception at the 33-yard line of Maine South. Don Johnson's down on the field. Don?
I want 2 young men that know what it is to win a state championship. Last year, Spencer Jensen, wide receiver, now currently at the U of I. Tell me how good this team is.
This team's excellent. I mean, the group of coaches and players are just hardworking, and they're willing to put it down the line to win. I think they got a great chance of winning this game.
Okay, now how are things going at the U of I for you as wide receiver?
Me personally, they're going great. I love it. I just can't wait till next year to start up in spring ball and stuff.
Okay, let's go over to Vince Jacoby, who also wide receiver. Now, Vince, one of the things, can your team come back? They're down now 20-13.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're a second half team, just like last year. Coach Chart, with the defense, he goes into halftime, makes some wonderful adjustments. So we have a pretty good chance.
Let's take a look at those rings that you got from last year. Hold them up there, guys. There you go. That's what the champions get, rings just like that. And they credit their coach Albrecht last year as the current wide receiver coach, allowing them to be as successful as they were. Let's go back upstairs.
Thank you very much, Don, as Christensen in trouble, gets rid of it. Out of bounds, knocked away.
Well, that's what they need to do. That was one of the keys of the game, and it really was pressure. Who's going to pressure who? And it was excellent pressure right here. He's rolling out. What happens is they get a good angle. It's good coverage. But notice how he goes for his upfield shoulder, so he can't turn to get upfield. That's great pressure and a smart move. He still gets rid of the ball. But that's great secondary play by Maine South.
Already here with 3:08 to play in the first half. These two quarterbacks have combined for 313 yards. Christensen with 131 of those. Motion from Brady on 3rd and long. Looking for 6, man goes down, the ball falls incomplete. Borsellino back as Randy Griffin fell down at the 10-yard line.
Well, again, that's a timing route. That's a spot to be. That's the post corner that he had scored on before going the other way. He throws the ball up in the air. When he runs the post, he delivers the ball, and the ball's in the air when he's making his break back to the corner. But there he just kind of slipped. The paint's a little thicker down in that part of the field, and I think he just tripped over that.
Once again, Lockport to go for it in Maine South territory. Brett Coy looks on. He sent the play call in. Christensen needs 8 yards for a first down. This one's knocked down at the line again. That's the second knockdown. And the Hawks to take over with 2:56 left in the first half. Number 51 is Tony Coletti, 6'3", 246-pound junior.
Now Tony Coletti's a two-way player. He's going to come up the middle of the field. The ball is thrown on a post route right over the middle. You see Tony right here. He's cutting right there, gets his hand up in the air, and it's knocked down before it is delivered. They did have a man open. We'll see right here. He comes up, gets that big hand up in the air. Great defensive reaction.
That's good elevation from a guy that weighs 246 pounds. Flag thrown here before the ball was snapped. Maine South leading at 20-13. 5-yard penalty on Lockport.
Ball. Encroachment. White. First down.
You know you've got a heck of an athlete when he can be rushing the passer, and then when the ball's just about to be released, to be able to jump and knock it down.
Coletti, the left tackle, will settle down. Room for Bryce. Stops the clock with 2:51 left. Maine South has all 3 timeouts. They would love to throw another score on the board here before halftime. In the semifinals, they stayed tight with Lake Park for a while, and then all of a sudden, Nutrier, who had lost 1 week earlier, knew what it was all about when Lake Park saw themselves get blown out 56-30. Although this Maine South team can be explosive. 2nd and very short. And about a yard needed. DeSico looking for the block to the outside, a flag down.
We're going to get a clip or a hold. Again, that was the bubble screen pass to the outside.
Second down and a yard was the call at the initiating part of this play. Now they talk to Lockport, and if it is indeed that hold, this changes the perspective a bit.
We have a push in the back, unblock, repeat, 2nd down.
There's Sean Price's numbers. There's your 67% completion percentage right there at 10 of 15, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns. Last week, Price threw 6 touchdowns in that semifinal. All he did was complete, 37 of 46 for 467 yards. Straight drop. On the run to DeSico. He can make things happen to the 45. Alberto DeSico inside the Lockport 35-yard line.
Great breakdown route by DeSico. What happened is when they flushed Price out, he went back against the grain. We'll see right here. Sean Price gets flushed, comes to this side, and he's sprinting downhill, throws the ball. Now DeSico goes back against the grain, and Alberto, at 6 foot, 172 pounds, can run. That puts him over the 100 reception mark for the year.
32 yards on that completion. And a loss of 4 on the play. DeSico's caught 7 balls for 88 yards tonight, and Price now has thrown for 214 yards on 11 completions.
It's hard to believe that a high school receiver can have 106 catches. Apparently, he's a little upset with him, and you know, that happens. That happens. That's what we call in coaching ranks tough love.
Okay. Down to 1:42 to play in the first half. Looking for Walsh again, just a bit overthrown. He had a step on his defender.
That's a little touch pass, and he just missed it by a step.
Third and 12.
That's one of those that you can't throw too hard, and you can't throw too easy. It's really a touch pass.
Walsh has 1 touchdown reception tonight. Looking for 6 there. 3rd and 12. There's Alberto DeSico's numbers. He's out to the right with Brian Schlitter. Walsh and Labus are to the left. Price is up the middle. He will not get his 12 yards. He'll get about 4. The offensive unit will stay on the field. They will go for it here on 4th down and say about 8 yards to go. Actually 4th and 9 as Price comes to the near side. His offensive unit starting to walk his way. Maine South may decide to use a timeout here.
Timeout. Black.
That's exactly what they do.
Now that's the offensive coordinator right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remember that in accordance with the Illinois Indoor Clean
Right there.
These two teams have, played. These two teams have played outstanding schedules this year, and that's why you get there. And you take a look at these teams, and 7 of the 9 regular season opponents. These are the 4 teams that has happened. You'd see that Libertyville, 7A, they lost in double overtime in a state championship game. Maine South, 7 of their 9 regular season opponents in the playoffs. Throw in the 5 more than they face here in the playoffs. So for Maine South and those other schools right there, St. Rita and Warren included, every game but 2 of them came against teams in the playoffs.
And of course, St. Rita in the semifinals was a team that played a very tough schedule and had a great year. And sometimes people say, well, they have those kind of records because they play patsies. Well, that's not the case with these teams.
4th down and 9. Maine South looking to build on a 20-13 lead. Price in trouble. Davis can't come away with it. Oh, and he's not a happy young man. He was down there inside the 10-yard line.
Now Sean Price gets flushed out of the pocket here, and he goes over here, and he just drops it over the top. This would have been a great catch, but they've been making those kind of catches all year long. You can see right here, he's looking one way, but he's going to come back the other way, and then he gets a little pressure. He has to throw it a little sooner than he really wanted to.
Some may wonder Lockport's strategy here. Are they happy down by 7, or they look to get something? Well, I'll tell you right now, I'll be shocked if they don't throw this ball down the field.
I'd be double shocked.
Ray goes open, the sliding grab made at the 45-yard line. Lockport has 2 timeouts remaining.
Isn't it amazing when you watch the poise that Jake Christensen shows there. He just keeps his feet just moving, so he has his momentum and his timing, and he just waits for that dig route or that underneath route to come open, puts the ball on the money. Draw.
The Hawks were there. Brady met by number 98, Dan Durbin.
Timeout.
Now a player down for Maine South. I'm not sure if they gave the timeout to Lockport here or just the injury.
They did.
Right.
Lockport is charged with the timeout. The injured player, number 84, is Kevin Collins. Collins, a two-way performer for Dave and Sarah's club.
You know, some might wonder about that call running a draw here with only, at that time, 56 seconds left. But what happened was the secondary was spread out all over the field. The linebackers had dropped out quite a bit, and that's when the draw is effective. But the defensive line did a nice job of tripping him up before it turned into a big play.
We talk about Collins being a two-way player. It's interesting the coaches' perspectives, and you always get into that never-ending debate of, you know, do we want to have, you know, two platoon, or we want guys to go both ways? Well, Dave and Sarah said he is of the philosophy, I want to put my best athletes on the field for as many minutes as I can. I'd rather have my best athletes a little bit tired than an average athlete coming in fresh.
Now, another philosophy on that is a gentleman I work for that I think is one of the finest coaches in the state, John Belskis. We have a platoon system, and his philosophy is that the kids become better because they get so many reps at practice that they actually do become a starter, where in the beginning of the season they would not have been, but because you put them in that position where they get so many reps constantly that they are at that level. And you have fresher teams. You know, they just got fresher legs coming in when you're able to play more kids.
Collins is still down at the 43-yard line. And injury earlier today in the 6A championship game from Bloomington. Tim McAvoy was down for quite some time. This appears to be some sort of a leg injury for Collins. Hey, I'd like to send my best wishes out to my girls AA basketball partner, Daryl Kipp. Daryl underwent open heart surgery this past week, and we hope all is well with Daryl. Get him all healthy, get him back there down at Redbird Arena here in the IHSA television network this coming March. So hats off to Daryl Kipp. Good luck to you, and glad that you're able to get things taken care of there and get you back on your feet and get you going. That's exactly what Kevin Collins is doing right now. He's on his feet, but he's not going too well.
We have a couple of real big crowds here for this ball game. We've really had great crowds today.
Yes, indeed.
And we've also had outstanding games all day.
Talking about a double overtime win in Class 7A by Oswego. In 6A, Carmel of Mundelein, eventual 54-26 win over Bloomington. And then in 5A, a game that really came right down to the wire as Sacred Heart Griffin of Springfield tightened it up on Joliet Catholic Academy. The Hilltoppers from JCA hung on for a 27-24 win in 5A. We've got a good one here, 20-13 Maine South, 51 seconds left, first half. Christensen waits, delivers. Ted like the reception. He'll have a first down inside the Maine South 45-yard line.
Same route that they ran before. There's a clearing route, then they clear out the safety, and he comes underneath on a dig route. Wide open, great throw.
48-yard line.
Remember, Lockport with just one timeout remaining. Over the middle. Reception made by Adam DeCare. He has it for another first down. Clock stop, 36 seconds.
It's amazing how Christensen could put the ball right on the money, thrown into a strong wind, but he has such a cannon for an arm. Look at that throw.
Double coverage. DeSico comes up with it. Alberto DeSico, the interception in the end zone.
Again, that was a post flag route. And really, he's thrown into a wind, and he just, right at the top of the screen, he's going to run a post, and then he runs back out again. Notice how he looks him off, then he comes back. Ball's already in the air when he's making his cut. Just a great, great defensive play right there by Albert DeSico, 6 foot, 172-pound senior. You know, there's your two-way player.
Exactly. Okay, 28 seconds left, 80 yards away. Maine South is going to go for it. That's the offensive package. Price looking for a lot. Too much looking for DeSico. So he makes the interception in the end zone, and then he runs 50 yards down the field looking to take it the distance. Alberto DeSico, what a great young man this is. 3.6 grade point average, a 29 on the ACT. He says, I just refuse to come out of the game. I don't want to come out of the game. I want the ball. Get it to me.
Those academic statistics remind me of my days in high school. Not necessarily his football abilities, but the academic. Do you believe that? I spent a lot of summers getting those grades.
Price again.
Oh, get out of bounds.
Walsh just does that at 16 seconds left at the 36-yard line. Derek Walsh has had a big first half. Walsh with a touchdown catch. He now has 3 catches. Walsh will be right there at about close to the 100-yard mark. Actually, it'll be 3 catches for 97 yards in half number 1. Price is thrown for 230.
Left guard moved.
Clock stops with the 11. Pretty long first half, but that's what we anticipated already. We've seen 44 passes thrown, so our projections, we've told everybody get ready for 80 passes thrown in this game. We're right on the money with that.
Full start on black.
Dave and Sarah, you see him in the red jacket with trimmed in black, the closely cropped hair just leaving your picture. I'll tell you, that takes guts to go without a hat on a night like this.
Takes guts to have a haircut like that.
I'd love to have a haircut like that.
The last haircut I had that looked like that was at Parris Island, South Carolina, and I don't want to relive those days too soon.
From the 31-yard line, 15 seconds left, they've reset the clock. Cranking it up, looking for Labus. Coverage by Rob Weber. He was right there with Mike Labus.
Really, the Lockport is in their prevent coverage where they're dropping off 3 deep, and they're playing 20, 25 yards off with under coverage. Linebackers helping them out. It'd be very difficult to get over the top on them.
One thing about Sean Price, he started as a sophomore last year, was injured in the 6th game of the season, lost for the rest of the year. The offseason, he really got after it, really worked. He has really developed his arm strength, you saw there. He has the arm. He's capable of airing it out. 9 seconds left now.
See, they're changing coverages up.
This is Cup. Cup to the 46-yard line, and right away, Maine South wants a timeout. They'll get it with 3 ticks left on the clock. Andy Cup with the carry.
When you have this kind of a high-powered offense that can score from anywhere on the field, and the thing is, it's not as if there's one great receiver that you got to count on. They've got 4 outstanding high school receivers. You can really spread the field, which puts a lot of pressure on the defense. So with 3 seconds left, they're at midfield. They have a chance to score because they have 4 guys they can go to.
Black.
Going to look at the offensive coordinator for Maine South. A lot of stars on those helmets. And everybody has their pattern. You go here, and don't worry, Sean will find you. And on the other side, George Chart, the center of your screen, talking to his defense, and they absolutely love Chart. You see Ryan Kuntz, number 9, he says, this guy is like my second dad. Well, George Chart was a defensive coordinator in 1991. That's when Providence won a state championship. Ended up coming over to Lockport. He's joined Brett Coy there. It's worked out pretty well.
I think Brett was at Providence at what time?
Assistant coach in Providence under Matt Semper, then went over to Joliet West before heading off to Lockport. Final play of the first half coming up. Creating space, letting it go. We end the half on an incomplete pass, but significant, and it was the 50th pass of half number 1. 33 points on the scoreboard. 20 of them belong to Maine South. The Hawks leading Lockport 20-13 here in the 8A state championship ball game. And we can now go down to Lee Hall. He's with Dave and Sarah of Maine South.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Coach is fired up. He was on his way to the locker room. I told you it was a good thing I was close to him because he's got some pretty good wheels. So far, so good, Coach.
You know, we're trying to have some fun out here. I think the kids are accomplishing that. You know, they're doing a nice job of threatening our DBs. We got to get a little more pressure on the quarterback, but we got to look out for their running game. They've been having a little success with that. Offensively, we got to stick with what we've been doing. It's been working so far. The wind's going to play a factor here, I think, in the second half.
Alberto DeSico put his nice receiving skills to work down there in the end zone, picking off that Christensen pass.
Yeah, and we need more of those. You know, we were sitting back on that one, so you know he's going to have time to throw. And Alberto did a nice job of just playing the ball. If we're bringing heat, there's going to be some pressure on our DBs, so they're going to pick it up in the second half.
By all means, Coach, bring the heat. We could use all of it we can get.
I'd like the heat too, absolutely.
Good luck to you second half.
You.
All right, back upstairs, Dave.
Thank you very much, Lee, as we take a look down on the field. The entertainment beginning here at halftime, and we have completed 2 quarters of play. The 33 points scored. Maine South with 20. They lead Lockport by 7 here at Memorial Stadium in the 8A state championship.
Wrap it up.
As a WISE TV WICC member, you have the satisfaction of knowing that your donation supports quality programming. Now your membership comes with a new benefit, the WICC member card. The WICC member card offers 2-for-1 discounts at restaurants and cultural attractions. You could save hundreds of dollars every year. Join or renew today at the $60 level or higher to receive the WICC member card and the WICC magazine free. For information on becoming a WICC member, go to our website at www.wicc.org or give us a call at 773-838-7961 to receive the WICC member card. You're watching WISE TV, WICC Chicago.
Focus. Take our award-winning sports section. Readers turn to the Daily Herald for the authoritative word on sports from preps to pros. Inject the provocative voices of Barry Rosner and Mike Imram, plus the Dean of High School columnist Bob Frisk, and you can understand why the Daily Herald offers Chicagoland's premier sports package. So, whether you're looking to read about the pros or the preps, turn to the Daily Herald. The Daily Herald. Big picture, local focus.
Stadium in Champaign, 20-13, our halftime score. Maine South with the lead over Lockport. These young ladies are excited about that because they are the cheerleaders from Maine South. Tell me how fired up you guys have been all week for this.
We've been really fired up. We've been so excited. This is my senior year, and I'm really happy that we got to make it to Champaign.
What did you guys do special this week?
Oh, just a lot of preparation, cheering for the boys extra hard, and trying our best to root our team on and get a lot of people out here to see the game.
We had one cheerleading squad that TP'd the players' houses. Did you guys do that?
No, we didn't. We tried to show our spirit in cheers and lifts.
We decorated the locker room.
Decorating the locker room. No TPing. Very good. All right, let's hear a Maine South Hawks cheer. You gonna give us a cheer? Yeah, sure. Uh-oh, formation change. Everybody, okay, ready? Ready? Begin. There you go.
W-I-N, yeah, fight to win. W-I-N, yeah, fight to win. W-I-N, yeah, fight to win. 2, 3, come on.
I just want to point out that fighting is a penalty, all right? Fighting is a penalty, so I just want to let you know that. And we haven't forgotten about the Lockport Porters cheerleaders either. Here they are. You guys have some experience at this. You guys, who was here last year in the state championship game? All right, is it colder tonight or was it colder last year? I was going to agree with, I was going to have speaks with you if you didn't say that, because it was a lot colder last year. What did you guys do to get ready for this week?
Lots of practice and
and that kind of thing, right? Do you guys go to camps and that kind of thing? Is this like an all year round thing for you? What did you do at camp? What do you work on at cheerleading camp in particular? Hair braiding or things like that, or what?
Cheerleading's a sport now, so we work on jumps, motions, cheers, chants. We prepare for the whole year. We do stunts, and we work all year long.
Well, let's see how all that work paid off. Let's hear a really good, your best Lockport Porters cheer.
Okay.
For all the folks in Lockport watching tonight, and Porters fans around the globe. Okay, dress that line. Okay, there you go.
Illinois, finest team, we're the best you've ever seen. Illinois, finest team, we're the best you've ever seen. Illinois, finest team, we're the best you've ever seen. Go Porters!
Excellent work. Now your parents know that the camp and the money paid off, right? Way to go. All right, good luck to you tonight. Lockport Porters cheerleaders back with more from Memorial Stadium after these local messages.
Hi, my name is Doriel Harris, and this is Drag, my first book. If you don't love human beings, there's really no reason to create art. Writing literature is about trying to get human beings to love and to love more fully.
The City Colleges of Chicago, in partnership with the Illinois Humanities Council and Borders Bookstores, proudly presents Great Books. Together, we will examine selective literary works to uncover the true meaning of being loved and being unloved, a subject which has been relevant throughout the ages, and it touches all of us.
It would really be a shame for some of these masterpieces to fade away just because we don't look at them anymore.
We encourage you to become an active participant by also reading the selections that are being examined.
Change your mind. Read a great book.
And welcome back to Champaign. We are at halftime. Again, it's Maine South with a 20-13 lead over Lockport for the 8A state championship. And we are joined by members of the Park Ridge Falcons. This is the youth football program that feeds into Maine South, correct? Correct. And this is Gary Azabishan right here and Jim Dehu, both head coaches. And tell us a little bit about the program.
The program is for youth in the grammar school age between ages 7 years old on up until 13 and 14. We had about 700 kids in the program playing football this year, and we take all calibers of play, and a lot of these guys won the national championship last year in Pop Warner down at Disney World.
Let me get over here to Jim real quick. Jim, you see a lot of the guys out on the field tonight that played in your program down through the years?
Yes, both in the Falcons and our House League program that are well represented. 54 out of the 73 kids, just on a head count tonight, played in our program, and that makes us really proud.
What kind of things do you stress in youth football?
Fundamentals. These kids have a lot of fun. They learn how to tackle, block. We don't teach passing like Coach Bliss does, though. We run the ball.
You do, okay.
Yes, we do.
Tell me, let me talk to some of the players here. There's Muck. He's right up front. This is Muck. Is that your given name, Muck?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you like about your football league and playing football?
Well, I like the fun of it and winning all the games, and going down to Florida and trying to compete for a national championship.
Now, is Muck your first name or last name?
Last name.
What's your first name?
Tom.
Tom Muck.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Tom.
Nice.
How about you? What do you like about all this?
Same thing. Just playing in Florida against other teams.
You got to play in Florida?
Yeah.
Am I too old for this team?
No. Yes.
What position you play?
I play nose guard.
Nose guard? Really? That's like the toughest guy out there. You look awful nice. Are you really that tough?
Yeah.
What about you, Muck?
I play wide receiver.
Wide receiver? Okay. And how about you?
I play fullback and outside linebacker.
All right. Congratulations to you guys on winning the national championship. And when you come down here and you play for the state championship and I'm interviewing you, be nice, okay? Because I'll be a lot older then. All right? Hey, congratulations, guys. Thanks for coming down and joining us here tonight.
These guys, we have 2 teams this year are going to nationals now, and they'll be leaving in a week, and hopefully we'll have 2 national championships when they come back.
Where's nationals?
Orlando, Florida.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. I thought you already played there. You're going there.
Yeah, they won last year, and now 2 teams are going down this year.
All right, well, good luck to you. All right, hopefully we'll see you down here on this big field someday. All right, do you guys need somebody to cover you in Florida? Because I'd love to come cover you in Florida, especially after tonight. Hey, thanks a lot for coming down, and best of luck to you in the future. And good luck to you in the national championship. All right, and are we going to go to break, or are we going to go ahead and do this now? Let's go ahead and do it now. This is Sean Price's father. Mr. Price, how are you? How do you like the first half so far?
I'm very impressed with the first half of both teams.
Tell me about having a son of your caliber as a quarterback. What did you teach him? I spoke to his grandmother earlier. She said he was throwing the football at age 2.
I'm so glad you did, because I was accused of losing Grandma from the bus into the stadium, and we found her on the scoreboard flirting with you.
Yes. She's a very sweet lady. Tom, tell me about Sean's only a junior. Are the letters starting to come yet for college?
Yeah, they are, but he hasn't even picked up the last 4 weeks worth of mail yet. And it's really focusing on this game has really been something special to him, and he's really done a good job of making sure that his priorities are in order. All that will come later on down the road, and right now winning a championship is his main focus, and he's done a great job of staying focused on that.
How do you, for those of us who would like to have a quarterback in our family someday, what do you do when they're 2 years old? How do you get them ready for this?
This has been a fantasy. I don't think there's any way of preparing for this. That all the elements came together. You saw some of the Falcons coaches that had a big part. In fact, Gary Abazian was his very first football coach, and Jimmy Duhu continued on down. And he's had such great opportunities with such great individuals to help him develop his game. I stayed out of the way and let it happen, and that's unusual.
Yeah, that is unusual, and that's a good thing for a father to do. Tell me about his mental approach coming into this game tonight. What were things like at home, and what were his thoughts before coming out for this game tonight?
That's a great question, and quite honestly, he's very balanced. He's the type that goes to bed at 9 o'clock and doesn't lose any sleep over big games or any game, and he'll be the same way after a win as he is after a loss, and very businessmanlike and unemotional in terms of his approach to the game. But I think he's excited to have gotten here in a way that only he can express.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us. All right, good luck to you. What do you think about second half here?
I think it's going to continue to be a close game. I just hope we have a similar result in terms of the scoreboard at the end of this second half here.
All right, Tom Price, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Price, Sean Price's father here at halftime. His Hawks with a 20-13 lead here at the break. We'll be back with more from Memorial Stadium after these local messages.
Got a big decision to make. Where are you headed? Where do you go next? The City Colleges of Chicago can help get you started. As a broadcaster, as an environmental technician, and hundreds of other courses and careers. Wherever you are in the city, there's a city college near you. Success starts here.
Hi, I'm John Davis, host of Motor Week. For the latest on the cars you drive and the cars you wish you could drive, be sure to catch Motor Week Monday nights right here on WYCC Chicago.
To 13 is your halftime score. Maine South over Lockport here in the 8A state championship ball game as Maine South looks to cap off an unbeaten season. They come into this game 13-0. Lockport at 11-2, looking to win their second consecutive 8A championship. Hi again, everybody, up high atop Memorial Stadium with Jack McInerney. I'm Dave Bernhardt, and you know, we came in highly anticipating this ball game. We have not been disappointed in the first half.
Well, we really haven't. We have over 400 yards of passing offense already. Both teams have thrown the ball over 24 times apiece. They're just warming up. The second half is where they really have been loosened up and really let it start to fly. This has been the way they've been doing it through the entire playoffs. We're in for some real explosion in the second half.
You know, I was a little interested in Dave and Sarah's comments with Lee Hall just as he left the field. He made a comment about the wind, and I didn't think it had a factor in this game, the way these two guys have thrown against the wind.
I don't think it had so much of a factor with that. I think it had more of a factor with the special teams. As far as the kicks and the coverages and where they put the kicks, they were getting the ball in good field position because they really can't keep it deep when you're kicking into the wind. But when you kick with the wind, you can see where the ball goes. I really don't believe that had to do with the passing game.
Let's take a look at those first half statistics here in our 8A championship ball game. As you can see, a lot of passing. 171 for Lockport, 230 for Maine South.
And, you know, that's an average at 171 for a passing team during the year that's having a great year. That's not even their normal average. They'd like to get a little higher than that. And Maine South, of course, that's low for them from where they've been going the last few weeks. So those are some good statistics for the first half. But I venture to say the second half stats are going to be twice as much as that.
There you take a look at how those numbers arose. 11 of 24 for 171 yards for Jake Christensen. He has gone to 6 different receivers on those 11 catches. And, of course, Sean Price, a couple of touchdowns, 12 of 22 for 230. So both these quarterbacks really, like you said, doing what they've done all year.
They really do. And the other thing is, you can see by the bottom, punts. We've only had 1 punt in this ball game. That tells you these teams are very courageous. They have tremendous confidence in their offenses, whether it be long yardage or short yardage. They are offensive-minded. They're going for the big scores.
We'll take a look at those first half highlights, and as far as Lockport is concerned, they were able to take the opening possession of this game. They were able to march it down, and Matt Ludwig kept it off with the field goal.
Matt Ludwig's had a strong leg for them all year. And again, as we mentioned during the broadcast in the beginning, we had 2 field goals right in the beginning that set a state playoff record.
Jake Christensen, you watch as he spins that ball as he just calmly
look at his feet, too. See his feet, they're constantly moving, which gives him that momentum and puts the ball right on the money. That's a tremendous defensive play right there.
Alberto DeSico with that interception. Here's Price coming right at you to Derek Walsh.
Drills the ball right on his upfield shoulder, right in the seam where it had to be. If it was thrown underneath, it would have been picked off, but that's not how they do things. When you throw the ball almost 500 times and have 7 interceptions, you know that you know how to throw the football.
That is not a replay. Matt Ludwig with a pair of field goals here in the first half. In fact, his 2 field goals gave his team a 6-0 lead.
Right there again, puts the ball right on the money. Nice long run. He knows where everybody's at. They're spread the offense out. They always go 3 receivers to the wide side, and then they put 1 receiver they want to isolate on the short side, and that forces the secondary into different coverages. They try to change up, but Sean Price is awful smart.
You know, I know a lot of you at home have watched a lot of high school football this season, and we're really happy to be able to bring you these two quarterbacks that you're going to see next year. But, you know, I get the impression as we watch, they almost make it look too easy, almost as if every single high school quarterback should be able to do it this easily.
Well, believe me, after 32 years of high school coaching, this is a phenomenon that's going on down there. Do I believe Sean Price's grandmother when she said at 2 years old he threw the ball across the field? That's a grandmother. But at this point right now, I believe everything that can go on with him because he's impressed me. Same with Christensen. They are 2 outstanding quarterbacks.
Those teams are just about ready to get back onto the field here and get things loosened up. They'll have to get those muscles ready to go because we've got a big second half coming up here in the 8A state championship ball game. But first, we'll step aside for these words from your local stations.
As a wise WYCC member, you have the satisfaction of knowing that your donation supports quality programming. Now your membership comes with a new benefit, the WYCC member card. The WYCC member card offers 2-for-1 discounts at restaurants and cultural attractions. You could save hundreds of dollars every year. Join or renew today at the $60 level or higher to receive the WYCC member card and the WYCC magazine free. For information on becoming a WYCC member, go to our website at www.wycc.org or give us a call at 773-838-7961 to receive the WYCC member card.
Rocking in Memorial Stadium. Anything to keep warm and anything to have a good time. That's what it's all about, is Maine South leading it at the half 20-13. And Jack, you know, we get the privilege and the opportunity here to obviously call the 6A and 8A games, but it's much fun to just walk around between games when you see each of the sets of fans coming into the stadium and the enthusiasm and just the atmosphere that's generated here.
For most schools, it's a very unique experience. For some of these schools, for example, like Lockport and, of course, Maine South, you know, they've been here before, but each one, it's a new experience for their particular son or daughter, or just the fact that their student is in the band. I mean, there was some great halftime entertainment here by the bands, by the cheerleaders, by the dancers, all that. You know, it's just one big show, and everybody has some involvement, and I think it's great to see people that are involved with their high school. Not necessarily being on the team, but supporting the teams, as we see down here. Tremendous sportsmanship.
There you take a look at the comparisons between these two quarterbacks here in the first half of play. And, you know, if this was the end of the ball game and you looked at those numbers, you'd say, well, that's a pretty good game.
Sure, exactly.
And we've done it in one half of play. You know, you talk about the fans coming down here and enjoying everything. Remember, this is Thanksgiving weekend. So many families, you know, may have family commitments, may be out of town, but yet they all bring it together. And I think Jim Flynn made a comment earlier today, this afternoon. He was talking with Lee Hall during halftime of one of our ball games. He said, you know, they switched the basketball tournament to Peoria, and Peoria has really embraced that basketball tournament. What an event that is. And he believes Champaign is really doing the same thing here with the football, with the tent city they have here east of this or west of the stadium here, and just the way everything rallies together. And Champaign, congratulations to you for the football job you've done. Let's go also down to the field for a guy that's done a great job today. That's Lee Hall. Lee?
Dave, thank you so much. I'm so glad somebody listens to those halftime interviews. First of all, God bless you for that. Coach Coy, what did you tell your team at halftime? Pretty well played first half, we thought.
Oh, you know, we made a lot of mistakes, and there was some situations where I thought, you know, we just didn't have things go our way, you know, and the bottom line is we're in the game and we want to make a game out of it and see how they react. And you know, offensively, we got to capitalize. We've been in the red zone too many times and not coming up with the big, you know, with the big play, with the touchdowns. We got 3 out of those first couple drives, and against a great football team like that, you can't do that, you know. And you know, hopefully we'll be able to correct that and put it in the end zone in the second half.
All right, good luck to you second half, Coach. All right, Lockport going for their second straight state title. Back upstairs, Dave.
We want to make them play a solid game. We want to make Maine South feel like they are in a game, because quite frankly, he realizes that they have not been all season long. And if, you know, Maine South is going to react to a tight ball game, well, they've got one here.
Well, the other part of it is exactly what he said is true, but the thing is that when you put up scores like Maine South has, their starters haven't played a lot of these games because maybe 4 or 5 of them were running clocks in the second half, so they haven't played an entire game. And so some of those stats are put up, and all of a sudden they're hardly playing. And Brett Coy has a good point. They were down in the red zone and weren't able to capitalize. You can't do that against a team like Maine South, and you certainly can't do it in the state championship game if you want to be the state champion.
Last year when Lockport won that 8A state championship with the undefeated season, McCoy really felt as though it was his offense that really came alive in the playoffs. This year he feels as if it's his defense, and quite frankly, he admits he is a little disappointed in the offense the last couple of games. Even though, you take a look at Lockport's numbers here in the playoffs, they've scored 45, 29, 27, and 37 points. He felt like his offense has not played their best football in the last 2 or 3 games, and that was the sentiments he was echoing right there.
Well, when you're a football coach and you're in a state championship game and you're down by 7, you're not a happy camper at halftime. You try to maintain your poise, but there's a lot of things to go over, and you always wonder, are these 15 and 16-year-old kids capable of understanding exactly what you're talking about? Here's a mature man that his life is football, but the kids have other interests. Certainly they want to win the state championship, but are they focused at halftime to make those adjustments and know exactly what they have to do when they come out?
Now let's remind you that Lockport in their last 3 playoff games, their defense has not allowed any second half points. Well, if they can pull that off tonight, that will be amazing, because you have to figure Maine South is not done scoring in this game.
Well, I've got to agree with you on that, and I'd use a stronger word than amazing if they can hold Maine South off from scoring in the second half.
The Hawks, winners of the 1995 state championship when they defeated Mount Carmel 31-28. Phil Hopkins coached that team to a 12-2 record.
Unsportsmanlike, flat, failure to return to start the second half.
Wow, you picked that one up as Maine South were late getting out.
Yeah, they weren't out here in time, and obviously they were making a few extra adjustments, and I'm sure it wasn't the shoelaces. It was on that blackboard. In a game like this, I'll take a 5-yard penalty if I can make the proper adjustment.
Back in 2000, Phil Hopkins finished first, 13-1 record, knocking off Glenbard North in the state championship ball game. Last year, the Hawks edged out by Conant in the first round, and you'll recall, Jack, I think you might remember this game in 2001. Let's see, Maine South in the semifinals lost to Downers Grove South. Really, in all seriousness, one of the most memorable high school games in overtime to Downers Grove South, 35-34.
You know what? I remember it, but I don't know that I saw it.
Exactly.
Do you remember the fog?
Tremendous fog. Well, Knight will give up 15 yards of field position. He'll kick it off. It'll still come down to the 12-yard line. That's where Adam Lave will take it. Lave with the full head of steam. Lave to the outside. Lave to the 40. Knight will bring him down. He prevents a touchdown. Well, if Lockport was looking for a spark coming out of the locker room, they found it in the form of Adam Lave.
Well, in the past, he was able to kick it into the end zone, so by keeping it in play, that gave Lockport an opportunity to be able to run it back here. And you can see he gets up into the wedge right there and then breaks it to the outside. And now he's got just the kicker between him and 6 points, and the kicker does a nice job. He's the safety on that play, and he did his job.
Look at the protection for Christensen. A little bit behind Cadlick. Back to the safety, as you will, Tyler Knight. That's exactly the position he played on the sophomore team before he came up to be the kicker. He was the quarterback / safety, and Dave and Sarah said you can expect great things from that young man in the next couple of years.
Well, you got to make that's a big play in a state championship game. You're on one-on-one on a kickoff. If I don't make the tackle, it's a 6-point gain, and it's a run back, and the momentum changes. There's all kinds of pluses for Lockport had he not made that tackle.
Nobody back with Christensen.
Man covered by Maine South.
Lofting it. Lammers cannot hang on. It was there.
Woo. That was 6 if he hung on to that, because he's running away from the defender. Again, Lockport taking advantage of Maine South being a man-to-man coverage by running crossing routes. And when you do that, you get the defender on your hip and behind you, and if the ball's well thrown, you got a big gainer.
Lammers with 2 catches for 61 yards in the first half. As we mentioned, he was one of 6 different men that caught the ball from Christensen. And now it's 3rd down and 10. Looking to capitalize on the 53-yard kickoff return by Adam Lave. Christensen looking to run for it. He did not get it. He'll come up about a yard, maybe 2 short.
Now that was really a great play by him, because he got heavy pressure coming upfield, and what he did is he ran underneath the pressure for that big gainer.
Thought he had those sticks eyeballed in front of the Lockport bench, and he will be a yard short. And boy, we've been in this situation. This is the third or fourth time tonight, each of these teams, with a fourth down and fairly short, just inside the 30-yard lines. Too far for a field goal, too short for a punt.
But it makes it an easy decision.
Exactly. Lockport was held in a similar situation earlier, right in this part of the field. Roller, plant, throw, complete, first down. George Cadlick, he's the possession receiver, the physical receiver. He has it inside the 15.
Just the timing route, they clear out one receiver and they bring George Cadlick underneath. So right now he's sprinting out to this side. The receiver's going and Cadlick's coming right over across the field right now, right into your play. They had cleared up over the top. Nice throw, nice catch, first down.
Mike Bello was right there, but Christensen put it on the money. Now Christensen.
Quarterback draw.
Will follow it up the middle. Christensen near the goal line. Touchdown! Touchdown. Jake Christensen followed Matt Boyce. He just rode his hip all the way in, and Lockport an extra point from a tie game.
Well, it's like a quarterback lead draw or quarterback trap. He just gets on behind that big boy, 6'4", 245 pounds, and follows him into the end zone.
Bealey on the hold. Ludwig's kick. We're tied. Just like that, 53 seconds into the third quarter. Adam Lay's 53-yard field goal sets it up. Christensen does the rest. Stay there. It's just beginning to happen in Champaign.
Start your New Year's off with a bone-chilling, thrill-provoking night of mystery.
I didn't do it.
You'd be wise to watch it with a friend.
There's a party in the library.
Get the police. The Mystery Marathon starts New Year's Day on WISE TV, WICC.
The big picture with a uniquely local focus. Take our award-winning sports section. Readers turn to the Daily Herald for the authoritative word on sports from preps to pros. Inject the provocative voices of Barry Rosner and Mike Ingram, plus the Dean of High School columnist Bob Frisk. And you can understand why the Daily Herald offers Chicagoland's premier sports package. So whether you're looking to read about the pros or the preps, turn to the Daily Herald. The Daily Herald. Big picture, local focus.
And now Lockport's put the ball back in play. I hope you weren't gone too long at halftime because you just missed a quick score. Knotted up at 20. Deep for the Hawks, and really not all that deep as Ludwig goes against the wind here. Tony Zur along with Alberto DeSico. Again, Lockport, remember that short kick, that short high kick they had earlier against the wind.
Which is an intentional pooch kick. Doing it again.
This time Zur settles underneath it.
Oh, he's got a nice wall.
Strung out across the 30-yard line. You know, back to the way this half started, Jack. You know, you talked about how, okay, if you make adjustments, you know, we'll take the penalty. And that was a penalty for failure to come out on the field on time for Maine South. But as it all plays out, that was a huge penalty.
Sure it was, because had they kicked from their normal spot, last several times with the very strong wind, they kick it to the end zone. Now they start from the 20. Here, that's a shorter kick. He received the ball at the 20 and runs it back. So, you know, you never know what's going to happen. It's a crazy game, this game of football.
So here's Maine South with the tie game. They'll run it, play number 1. Pickup of about 3.
Andy Cupp, a junior, 5'9", 179 pounds. Hasn't run the ball very much this year, but he's kind of the draw screen man they go to keep the secondary honest.
Cupp with 474 yards, 7 touchdowns this season. Tonight, that's just his second carry. He had 16 yards. He picks up 3 on that play. To the right side, and little miscommunication there, as the intended receiver was Brian Schlitter, and we should remind you that one of their other receivers, that's tight end Kevin Collins. He's listed as a tight end, but he always also seems to split out wide. He was taken off the field with an injury, and that, you know, is hurting Maine South on both sides of the ball. He was a two-way player.
Well, that's probably one of the poorer throws that Sean Price has made tonight. Part of it was he got good pressure from the defensive line, which did not allow him to step up and really get some zip on that ball, and he underthrew it.
3rd down and 7. Misfires on that play. Good coverage by Rob Weber. They were looking for Mike Labus, and as they did in the first possession of the first half, Maine South will have to punt. Now Knight will do the punting as well. Kevin Collins, once again, the man we just talked about, the offensive player, the defensive player, is the first string punter. Knight will do the kicking here. Dan Brady will retreat inside his 30.
Got to get it up into that wind. It's not a good kick, but a good bounce will help, and he got it. That's the turf bounce.
It goes down to the 12-yard line. Actually, had they let it go a little longer, the wind may have helped it even a little bit more. So the Porters from Lockport tied at 20. Ball sitting at their own 12-yard line. We've played just a shade over 2 minutes into the 3rd quarter. 56-yard kick for Tyler Knight, sophomore. You take a look at Jake Christensen. He comes from pretty good genetics. His dad, Jeff, is an outstanding quarterback at Eastern Illinois University, and in fact, he was selected in the 1983 NFL Draft. He was the quarterback taken after Dan Marino. Now, granted, there were a few picks between Marino and Jeff Christensen. That's pretty good company you're keeping. His son has it now. Jake across the 15 for a gain of about 5.
Now this was just a quarterback counter because the guard and tackle pulled. He stepped back, and he was following the guard and the tackle on the counter play. Trying to give Maine South a different look here.
No huddle. Steps and runs away from the pressure, stumbles at about the 19. You know, you have to give credit to the offensive line for Lockport, an entirely new unit, but yet they form that wall, that pocket that protects Christensen oh so well.
And they've really done a nice job of it tonight because Maine South has really been pressuring him. Now, granted, he's got good athleticism because he kind of steps up in the seams, but he truly has gotten time, and the offensive line has done a fine job.
Need 3 yards for a first down. Not going to get it. Indeed, Mike Bello, number 8, right on top of his counterpart, number 8. That's Adam DeCare. We have a flag down, sitting at the 15-yard line. That was near where that ball was thrown.
That was really excellent coverage. I don't know.
They're talking to Maine South. That may have been offensive interference. Steve Trudy carrying on the conversation on behalf of the Hawks. Our referee is Donald Cook.
We have illegal motion on white, decline, 4th down.
Now, this is where we talk about field position playing an important role. He's going to be kicking into a very, very strong wind.
Christensen is the punter, the first time he has punted tonight.
They have a lot of fakes off of things. They're not going to do it now. I don't suggest that to you, but they do a lot of things off their punt game. Ooh, that was fairly close.
Pretty good kick here by Christensen.
Sure was.
It will roll dead inside the 40-yard line, but he kicked it 10 yards over the head of Alberto DeCicco. That's a 42-yard kick against the wind. That's getting it done. 8:42 to play in the 3rd quarter. 20-20, Maine South and Lockport here in the 8A championship. Great day of football earlier today. Joliet Catholic Academy in 5A defeated Sacred Heart Griffin 27-24. Griffin came back strong in that one. Then in 6A, Carmel and Mundelein, top-ranked team of the season, 54-26 over Bloomington. In 7A, double overtime. Oswego ends up winning that ball game, and here we're locked up at 20. And a great weekend of football here in Champaign. Sean Price can't keep his feet underneath him, and he'll go down for a loss.
I think they wanted to sprint out on that, and the outside linebacker came hard up the field, which forced him to come back underneath, and that stopped that play before it ever actually got started. They wanted to get him on the edge and spread out that man coverage by Lockport.
Already in this game, you know, with the clock stops so often with the incomplete passes, the first down, already we have had 88 plays run in this game. We have 8 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the third quarter.
Got all kinds of records going on here tonight.
Twin receivers on each side for Price. Time to run. First down, just across midfield for Price.
He is a smart kid.
It was interesting hearing his father as well, how level-headed he is. Goes to bed at 9 o'clock, doesn't worry about the big game, but yet he makes big plays.
Now you can see right here the pressure's up the field. He slides underneath it. Now this little move right here where he waves the receiver back. See that where he pointed? That kind of drops the secondary off a little bit. He knows exactly where he has to go for the first down. In bed by 9 o'clock? Doesn't he do any homework?
Well, he's past his bedtime coming up here pretty soon.
So am I. And I never did any homework.
A little mix-up on a pattern there between DeSico and Price. Get a look at Derek Walsh. Walsh tonight, a touchdown grab. Each one of these receivers in this offense has a different role. Walsh is kind of the guy everybody will forget about because DeSico gets all the catches. Schlitter makes the big plays. Mike Labus is the big target.
Well, Lockport kind of unheralded, but that defensive front has been doing a nice job of putting good pressure on Price. Not great, but good pressure. Enough to make him not real comfortable.
Showing blitz. Here they come. Price lets it go. It's again Rob Weber on the coverage. He is trying to stay with number 2, Mike Labus.
You can see the arm strength of Sean Price there when he's sprinting left to get the secondary to roll, and it's going to be a throwback pass, and he almost gets nailed just as he was about to throw it, and he threw it 40 yards with the flick of a wrist. Good shot there of Dave and Sarah, the head coach at Maine South, has done such a great job taking over the reins of Phil Hopkins a few years ago, and he's kept the program on the roll.
Third down and 10 from midfield.
Right there, he broke the plane. That outside linebacker was coming, and he broke the plane, and we got a flag, 5 yards.
Eric Sternberg was dancing along the far side of the line, and we'll make it 3rd and 5. Got that shot of Insera and took the Falcons youth football program.
Encroachment, white, third down.
This is a program with tradition. You talked about Phil Hopkins. So much so that the youngsters grow up wanting to be a Hawk. Dave Insera capitalizes on that. He brings in former players. He brought them in during the playoffs to speak to his team about what it means to keep the tradition going in Maine South. To keep this drive going, they need 5 yards. They have it. DeSico, the catch for about 9.
That was an outstanding catch because it was actually behind him, and he had to turn and make that catch. Alberto DeSico, he's over 100 catches, over 1,100 yards pass receiving this season, 10 touchdowns. He's one heck of a high school receiver.
He has a touchdown tonight to 97 yards on 8 catches. He had 17 catches in the semifinal game. That was a state record, the win over Lake Park. Maine South on the move with 7 minutes left in the third. Price looking for it. Got it! Once again, it's Derek Walsh inside the 5-yard line.
And again, part of that completion was Sean Price's mechanics and pressure. He looks one way, now he turns the other way, then he comes back again. That was just enough for that receiver to run the post route and get underneath. See how he looks away, then comes back, puts the ball right on the money. Look at that, right on the money.
Brandon Feely saved a touchdown at least momentarily for Lockport. 1st and goal from the 5. Taken up nicely by Lave as DeSico was just nudged a yard inside into the end zone.
You know, from a coaching standpoint, it's really something to watch Sean Price. What tremendous arm strength he has, because that was an arm throw right there. He was actually being pressured into a back pedal and threw a rocket. Watch what happens here. He's going back right here. Pressure's forcing him. He's actually coming backwards as he drills that ball right on the money. That's a heck of a throw. It's a better defensive play by the defensive back, but that was a great throw.
2nd and goal. Cup touchdown.
Andy Cup.
19th touchdown of the year. This one comes with 6:28 to play in the 3rd quarter, and it allows the Maine South Hawks to regain the lead at 26-20.
He really got rocked on the first contact, and he spun out of it, and great second effort got him into the end zone. And it's efforts like that that have gotten Maine South to this point in the state championship game.
Night for what is becoming increasingly important extra points. Sophomore's kick is good, 27-20. So as you would expect an outstanding team, they come back and match Lockport's score, 27-20. Maine South over Lockport. We'll pause for these words from your network sponsors.
Wrap it up, I'll take it. Wrap it up, I'll take it.
Colleges of Chicago can help get you started. As a broadcaster, as an environmental technician, and hundreds of other courses and careers. Wherever you are in the city, there's a city college near you. Success starts here.
My job because I get to work with people. I totally consider my clients friends. I appreciate it when they actually ask me over for dinner.
I feel if you don't know a person personally, then how do you know what insurance they're really going to need?
We are real people. We all have the same goals, we have the same ambitions, and some of the same fears.
We definitely think of the client in personal terms.
When they trust you and they like you and you've helped them, it makes me feel great.
This is my country.
Call me anytime.
Need a truck? Call the red, white, and blue fleet from Elite Truck Rental. Elite's loaded with trucks in all sizes ready to serve you. Plus, at Elite Truck, your reservations are guaranteed, you're in and out fast, and you always get a great price.
A 60-yard drive and 8 plays have given the Hawks a 7-point lead with 6.5 to play here in the 3rd quarter.
Just one of those games where you get the feeling whoever has the ball last.
Knight this time will be able to kick from his own 40-yard line. Picked up by Lave. He had that big kick return earlier. Not as much this time as he will get it to about the 24-yard line. That last drive only took 2 minutes and 14 seconds, and on that drive, Price has increased his passing totals tonight to 270 yards. He has broken that state record for passing yards in a season. There you get a look at the numbers between these two quarterbacks. Right now, 57 passes thrown between them. Price the better numbers. He has the better numbers on the board, 27-20. His team has the lead. Over 4,600, almost 47 yards passing now for Sean Price. Christensen on first down. Looking deep for Lammers. Borsalino, Lammers, who has it? Flag is down. Lammers comes away with it. How will this go?
Now that was way after they were both struggling for the ball, so it's kind of interesting call.
I think they say reception Lammers. Get a good look at it here.
Well, obviously he's getting a good drop here. He's looking all the way, and he's just getting up into the wind. And look at that tight spiral, and that is into a very, very strong wind. And right here, unless it's a face mask during the struggle, but you can see right here, nice drop, Great steps, and he really throws this rocket down. That look right there, I think that's a face mask.
We have a face mask, 5 yards, first down, white.
Tell you what, that last Pearl Vision test I had paid off. This is
what I needed. We were all over that.
Well, I watch what I eat and I work out.
42 yards and a completion from Christensen to Lammers. Great job by Zach Lammers to out-wrestle Borsellino for that pass. Lammers now having his big night, over 100 yards receiving. First down, Lockport at the Maine South 31. Dave Sliwa is thrown back.
Boy, they stuffed that. A little counter play. The guard and tackle pulling.
Don Durbin, number 98, the big guy we featured in the pregame, made his presence felt there. No gain on the play for Sliwa.
You know, really the unsung heroes of this ball game have been both the defensive lines of both of these teams. You know, even though the stats are still up there, they put pressure on these guys. They certainly stopped the run game, what little there is of either team, but they've put a little pressure on both of these quarterbacks.
Christensen plants and throws to the end zone. The short man was Lammers, the deep man was Cadlick. He missed on both.
He does have one strong arm.
The third down. Christensen stands 6 feet 1 inches tall. He goes 190 pounds. Get a look at that offensive line. Great story on the left tackle, number 73, Tim Gritzman. Didn't play football until this year. He was a soccer player. He came down here last year, watched the Porters playing the state championship game. He said, you know, I think I'd like to come out and play football. Found a spot for him on the offensive line, and he earned his way in. How about that?
Well, I wonder how much of that is where the soccer coach said, son, you're a little too big for soccer. I think it would have worked either way.
On 3rd and 10. A good block thrown. Christensen will come up a little bit late. Dan Brady put a crunching block on. Well, let's see where the spot is. 22. We're going to be a yard short of the first down here again.
Well, Jay Christensen on this gets flushed out of the pocket. You can see him looking, and he just gets pressured out. He gets a good block right there, and he gets a little pop, and that's the name of the game. Good, clean shot. You see, he wants to get rid of it right now, but here's the pressure right there. Coming right up the middle from Zefik. Bounces him out of bounds, and Rick Laura puts a little hit on him right at the end.
They will measure the chains on the far side of the field. They want to make sure they get this right. I do believe they will be short by a fairly significant margin. Well, what's that, about 2/3 of a yard? So what would that be? I guess that'd be 2 feet, right? 2/3 of a yard.
2.25.
Okay. I said down here again, Lockport has been in this situation 3 different times on 4th and short in this very same vicinity of the field. A lot of time left in this one, folks.
But there's not a lot of decisions to make in these kind of situations. You know, it's really an easy situation. It's an easy decision.
The only decision Brett Coy makes is what play do we run here?
That's right. And, of course, what play works. The one that gets it for you is always the one that works.
Let's see what happens here. 4th down, less than a yard to go for Lockport. The sneak by Christensen will get it. He just went off his center, Jake Kovalarczyk, and left guard Mike Mingy. Counted on them to move the defensive front out. Enough for the first down from the 20.
What happens on that is the quarterback comes up. He looks to see where the seam is, and as we look down on this replay, it's really over his left guard. You can see right there's nobody over the left guard, and that's exactly where he ran. We call that the little bubble. So he runs at the bubble. Got him.
For Griffin.
Tell you, he's very lucky they didn't call pushing off on that one. Because he gave a little push just before he put his hands up.
Looking for the 6'4" wide receiver, Randy Griffin. Borsellino 5'9" on the coverage.
Just laying it up. Watch a little, just prior to that, a little push off. doesn't give him much room to work with in the corner of that end zone. And that makes it a tough play. He probably needed about 2 or 3 feet inside so that you can fade out of bounds. He put it right on the line. That's a tough play and a tough catch.
Griffin sparkled last season in the semifinal win over Hinsdale Central in what many people called one of the greatest games in Illinois high school football history.
I was there. It was quite a game.
2nd and 10, short side of the field. Brady stopped by Borsellino after a gain of 5. Well, it seems like the majority of this game has been played in the opponent's territory. The way the whole field has been working and the plays have been working, it's 27-20, so 47 points have been scored here with 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, but teams have had their chances.
Well, some of these teams that are passing teams are actually better when they have more field to work with because of the routes. When they get down in a red zone, it works sometimes for the defender because it shortens the field. There's not as much to cover, so you can play them tighter.
Big 3rd down here. On the rollout, has to get rid of it in a hurry.
Oh,
Caught, Rago,
wow.
touchdown,
Wow.
Eric Rago, oh my goodness.
He threw that ball long before Rago made the turn to make the catch because the defender was right there.
Rago's catch has pulled Lockport to within a point. You know, we can talk about the quarterbacks all we want, but there's some guys out here that can make catches in traffic. Now Ludwig's attempt for the tie. You knew you were going to get a good one in 8A football here tonight. 27-27, Maine South, Lockport. 3:40 left in the 3rd quarter. Here's that catch by Rago.
Now this is not as if he's wide open. This is great coverage. You can see Christensen rolls a little bit right here, gets great pressure, but notice how the ball's already gone. A little pushing off maybe a tad, but that's really an excellent catch under pressure with the defender right there.
That's a physical play by Rago. He's 6'1", 170, and he really just out-muscled Mike Bello. Bello's 6 foot 183-pounder. He was on the coverage.
Good throw and an even better catch. And it wasn't as if, you know, he was wide open and it was poor coverage. It was just an outstanding play.
That's the first touchdown pass thrown tonight by Jake Christensen. He's run for 2 for Rago. His 4th grab, good for 55 yards tonight. Right now, Christensen with 240 yards passing. Price with 270. They are still shy of what Kyle Tutt did in the 2A game. Kyle Tutt from Iroquois West passed for a class record of 381 yards, and Iroquois West went over Carthage in Class 2A yesterday.
And the pooch kick.
No fair catch called.
No, somebody's saying
well, evidently they did. Yes, somebody did. Andy Cupp took the kick.
That's a dangerous play because I didn't see anybody waving their arm.
Officials talking at about the 28-yard line.
Great job of officiating tonight by our crew.
I believe the Lockport fans saying, you know, what's this all about, advancing a fair catch? Those fans just happy to be on TV. Why not? It's a great run down here to Champaign. All right, here we go. Going back the other way. Price. Tie ball game at 27. Oh, is he hammered? Oh, my.
Ryan Kuntz. A late blitz from the inside. They came off the edge with Sternberg. You'll see him coming, 44 coming, and Kuntz comes late right in here. That's a big hit right there. That's the first real shot that they had at Sean Price. For the most part, the entire evening, he's had great protection.
Ryan Kuntz, along with Brian LaGiglia, formed the best inside linebacking pair Lockport has ever had. Both those guys were starters last year. Kuntz coming up with big plays in big games. That's his style.
And that was an awful big play.
Loss of 8. Sternberg showing blitz. Here he comes. Price runs away from it. And now they're starting to lay the lumber as down goes Mike Lavis. He took a stick as that ball was overthrown.
Well, you can see what Sean Price did there. They put in the roll or the sprint to get away from that pressure, and the pressure was coming again off the edge, and he just rolled out and threw back. Right here, the ball is overthrown, which opens up the receiver to this hit from the free safety, and that will knock the cobwebs out of your head.
Actually, that was Brian Legelia, a linebacker that had really dropped off in coverage. So Kuntz and Legelia back-to-back hammer jobs on Maine South. The Porter fans really coming alive. Huge crowd across the way as Price will change the play at the line. Third down at 18. Yep, he didn't get it off.
Now see, for our fans at home here at Memorial Stadium, in both end zones is the clock on both sides. They have two clocks that they can see, so the quarterbacks know how much time that they have left.
Flat. Third down.
Which means that they really need, if they're going to audible, they have to do it within a certain amount of time. Now right there, it looked as if they want to go to a three-step drop because they're getting so much pressure. Let's see if I'm as good at lip reading as I thought I was.
Third and 23. Hawks have to get to the 38-yard line.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Down he goes. Mike Schaub, number 62. What a defensive series for the Lockport Porters.
That was a big stop for them. But that was a smart play by Sean Price to take the sack rather than force the ball, because Lockport really dropped out deep underneath, and he would have thrown an interception. So we're going to end up getting a punt with the win. You can see after this punt, we'll look at it again, but he's getting pressure.
It's blocked! This one's blocked!
Touchdown.
Adam Lave with the touchdown! They came hard after the sophomore Tyler Knight. And the special teams have put one on the board. Was it Eric Sternberg, number 44, with the block?
Well, he's been coming off the edge hard all night long. And there's a combination of it, kind of a slow-paced punt.
Lockport has taken a 33-27 lead with 2:04 to play in the third quarter. Ludwig on for the extra point.
Could get a flag right here.
His kick is good. Lockport with an outstanding defensive series. 2 sacks, an incomplete pass, and then a block punt that leads to directly a touchdown, and they have come from a 27-20 deficit to lead 34-27.
Oftentimes people don't realize the importance of special team play, and you know that we had a kickoff return for a touchdown, and we've had some long kickoff returns. Special teams and a block punt, some mixed extra points, they add up during the course of a ball game.
Maine South in a position they have not been in this year, and that is trailing here deep in the third quarter. That was one of the goals Brett Coy had for Lockport. He said, we want to make them play in a close game. There was no disrespect meant towards Maine South, but they have been so good and so dominant, they have not played in close games.
Well, an interesting fact is, over a third of the plays in any particular game are special team plays. And so the opportunity to have a big play there presents itself, and certainly you're going to bring them hard, especially with the win, that they want to make sure that they came hard on this thing, and you got a young kicker, and so a combination of things resulted in that.
And it is the backup kicker. Again, the key here is that Tyler Knight, sophomore, has had to jump into that punting duties because the regular punter, Kevin Collins, was taken off with an injury in the first half.
Usually when you're kicking out of your own end zone, you take fewer steps.
The Seco at the 25. Just across the 30. Big series here for the Maine South offensive line.
Lockport, or Maine South, has got to turn the momentum. Lockport is really hopping now.
See the time left in the third quarter. The high-scoring affair that we figured we would get. possession from Walsh. The quick slant thrown behind Labus. Legilia was closing in a hurry. There is a flag down right where the ball was snapped.
Looks like it's going to be holding.
That last possession by Maine South resulted in minus 18 yards, and that's what pushed that punt into the end zone.
With a dead ball, personal foul, flat, second down.
Big penalty.
Boy, I guess.
To the 16-yard line we go.
Can ill afford to have a penalty like this, the way the momentum is swung here.
Nothing there for Price. He looked, he wanted to deliver immediately. It wasn't there. Mike Schaub was number 62 for Lockport.
This is a one-step drop. It's a timing route. He's supposed to take one step right there and throw, but he couldn't do it. The timing was off. The linebacker was in his face, and right now he gets pressure. That was designed to be a one-step throw, and it wasn't there, and he gets sacked.
Let's give credit to Evan Mitchell on the sack. He made the first hit. You get a good look at Mitchell, 5'8", 230-pounder, right in the middle of that defensive front. Third down and 28. That's exactly the yardage that Maine South was on their previous possession. Price finds DeSico. He'll be short of the first down by about 8 yards.
But they're in much better position now to punt than they were before. That was a great job by Sean Price of scrambling, then throwing back against the grain to find the open receiver.
Now Knight, who just moments ago had his punt blocked, will be thinking about it right here. Not much pressure, gets it away, good kick. Brady from his 25. Dan Brady, the return to the 36-yard line. Return of 11 yards, 40 after a 43-yard kick by Knight.
Well, Maine South bit the bullet on that one coming out of there. It could have been a lot worse.
Quarters at their own 36.
22 seconds left. This has been a long third quarter. Lockport has scored 3 times, 3 touchdowns in this quarter, outscoring Maine South 21-7. They've done it against the wind.
Maine South has scored 100 points over the course of the season in the third quarter.
Pass to Cadlick, shakes the man. Cadlick at the 50. Now a race to the 30, 20. Cadlick to the 10, 5. Touchdown, George Cadlick. 64 yards.
Wow, what a backbreaker that is.
40-27. Lockport now with 27 third quarter points.
Well, we can see right here, he just gets the ball out there. It's a missed tackle. It's one-on-one coverage, and he's just going right down the sideline. That stride wouldn't indicate great speed, but he's outrunning everybody.
Man with the best shot at him was Steve Trudy. Ludwig's kick once again, good. 41-27, a 14-point lead, a 28-point third quarter for Lockport. A special team score. A short pass that turns into a long touchdown score. We look at it again.
Basically, he's man-to-man coverage out here because of the rotation. He just gets the ball delivered, turns outside, missed tackle, off to the races.
Frank Simoncelli, 24, giving chase. Here comes Trudy. Cadlick, too big, too strong. Takes it in.
A pass designed to pick up 5 yards results in 55 yards.
Amazing. Boy, how about this momentum change we have had here in the last 5 minutes on the clock?
Oh, big time. But you know what? We're a long way away from this being over.
Lockport last year set the record in Class 8A with 35 points scored in the game. Well, they just broke it here. Here in the third quarter with 41 points. A low kick. Zur brought down in the open field by A.J. Carroll. There are some hungry Porters out there right now. 5 seconds left for Price with the win.
There are some happy Porters right there.
And we've also broken a record already for most points combined by two teams. 68 points scored in this game. That breaks the record set by Downers Grove South. You'll recall this, Jack, and Naperville Central 34-31 win for the Mustangs.
Remember it well.
They go short pass. Walsh goes down, and that will close out a third quarter. A third quarter that Lockport Porter fans will look upon fondly if they can pull off the state championship. 28 points in the third quarter for Lockport. They look to the fourth as we take this break and hear from your local station.
Right here in the middle of our downtown, the Clark House, the oldest existing home in Chicago, still stands. This house takes us back in history the same way a good book does. In the late 1800s, Henry James wrote the novel Washington Square. Imagine Catherine, whose father considers her unattractive, being the object of a handsome young man's attention. Is it love? Her father doesn't think so, but does her father love her? The City Colleges of Chicago and WISE TV, WYCC, invite you to read along with us as we explore the theme of being loved and unloved in these great works of literature. Pick up these books or visit your library. Our website has all the details. Then join us in January for the Great Books Town Hall meeting on WISE TV. Change your mind. Read a great book.
Beating Maine South 41-27 here in our 8A state championship game. We talked with Sean Price's father earlier. It's only fair that we give a little equal time to Jeff Christensen, Jake's father. Jake did a wonderful job there early in the second half. I thought he moved the ball down the field with his legs, something we haven't seen a lot from him.
We talked about that before the game started, and I told him that you might have to win a couple plays with your legs because they have a tendency of playing man-to-man, and they leave the flats open, and so if you can take advantage of it and get to the corner, you get 8, 9, 10 yards every time.
You're his father, but you're a former quarterback. How would you rate your son tonight?
In that quarter, I give him about 11.2.
Out of how many?
Out of 10. The Maine South made the cardinal sin of kicking, not taking the wind in the fourth quarter, and the good Lord's got a weird sense of humor with football. And so throwing into the wind doesn't affect him at all. He actually throws better into the wind. And so if we can hold them right here where our defense is playing, I give us a great chance.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks a lot. Jeff Christensen, Jake's father, liking the way the scoreboard reads here, gentlemen.
Third down and 11 for Price. He delivers. DeSico, he's a playmaker. He has the first down. Alberto DeSico. They needed him. They got him. That will slow down the Lockport defensive machine.
Boy, those kids go over the middle, and they don't flinch. They don't have alligator arms and pull those things in. They reach out, and they go for the football, and then they tuck it away and make some great moves afterwards.
Maine South chasing a 14-point deficit. Rice, he has a touchdown run. He gets about 1.5 yards to the 40. Take a look at how the numbers stack up between our two junior quarterbacks. Can you be any more even than that? Look at those numbers. Billed as a matchup between the two best quarterbacks in the state after 3 quarters. It can't play out any tighter.
Well, the other part of it is you look at those statistics, you look at the fact that we're in a state championship game, and think about this, they're both juniors.
Incredible. 2nd and long for Price. He will be close to the first down. Let's see where they put him down. He will have it.
Yep, he'll have it.
You know, we knew there were going to be a lot of records broken tonight. One of the records broken, each of these quarterbacks have done it, and they will alternate holding the record for their team as most passes attempted by a team in an 8A state championship game. Well, it's up to 35 now for Price. There's your record. It's already been broken for most passing yards by both teams, and that again was back in 2001, Naperville Central, Downer South. First down, Hawks. From midfield. Quickly to Lavis. Lavis. Hit from behind. And again, every time any one of these receivers on these two teams have it, they are all game breakers, and their coaches admit that.
They're all threats to go all the way. And what's interesting is we're getting a lot of man coverage, and they're going against the grain, and they look like longer runs than they really are. They turn out to be 9-yard gains, and initially when you see it, you think it's going to be a 30 or 40-yard gain.
Good situation to be in, 2nd down and a yard. Price may have it. He took a pretty big hit that time from Evan Mitchell. But he should have that first down at the 40. They wave the chain gang on. Records, records, records. Most points scored both teams. A lot of those numbers that were put up in that championship win by Downer South or Naperville Central a couple of years ago are wiped off the board here tonight.
Well, all those records that John Belskis set as the head coach at Downer South and defense coordinator. Where's the whiteout, I guess, huh?
Pup out of the backfield. Pup just moves those legs forward. He's got it down to the Lockport 25. Boy, you have to keep your eyes open here because anybody can touch the ball at any time. We have 9 minutes and 36 seconds to play. Lockport leads Maine South 41-27 as the Porters bid to become back-to-back state champs in Class 8A.
Well, once the ball is snapped, you know it's going to be a big play because these kids are so accurate throwing the football.
Here comes a blitz. Price picks it up. Lavis takes a hit immediately. Stops the clock. 9:18 left.
They're throwing those quick slants over the middle, and those are dangerous passes. Not so much for an interception, but dangerous for the receiver getting whacked by those free safeties coming up inside.
The safe position the Hawks have not been in. Price now up to 326 yards. Breaks the record of Phil Horvath, set in 2001. Gets rid of it to DeSico. Slips one tackle, and another. DeSico close to a first down at the Lockport 15.
He's getting a good mark. He's going to be right there.
Alberto DeSico with his 11th catch of the night. 11 catches. He's played every down on defense. Now he wants asking the officials for a timeout without calling it for his team. He's asking for an equipment timeout. The number is a little 3. The heart is a big one in the Albert DeSico. Need less than a yard for a first down. Price has it. Again, a 2-touchdown difference. That's what Maine South is looking to catch up to.
Coach and Sarah getting a little nervous here. Clock right now, the factor.
This drive lasting a little longer than he is accustomed to. It started with 10 seconds left in the third quarter. It's already gone over 3.5 minutes here in the fourth. Intercepted! Rob Weber. Weber brings it across the 40-yard line. The first interception tonight of a Sean Price pass, and Weber brings it back 38 yards.
Well, we had double coverage in the corner here, and he throws it underneath, and Rob Weber just comes underneath right there off the deflection, picks it off. 5'10", 170-pound senior goes right down the sideline, stays in bounds. And Brian Zandy, the big tackle, hustling downfield, makes the game-saving tackle from the standpoint of a touchdown here. Right here, Weber down the sidelines, cutting back. There's Zandy hustling down the field, making the tackle.
That was Eric Sternberg that deflected that ball. And if you thought Lockport would sit on a lead, you are mistaken. Christensen scoots out near midfield. That's not something Lockport does. Brett Coy has been asked the question. Situations like this, why not use some clock? Why not run some running plays? He says, no, it's not part of our offense. That's not how we do it. This is what they do. They figure that points on the board are better than killing the clock. You see the time in your upper right-hand corner, 8:05. Now Maine South defense, they need the turnover. They've intercepted 24 passes on the season. They picked off Christensen once tonight. Brady brought down after a short pickup. Tony Coletti, the man on the tackle.
Usually when Jake Christensen comes up underneath center, it's a 50% chance he's going to throw it, but the other is either going to be a screen or a draw. Usually from the shotgun, he's going to throw it about 90% of the time, maybe 10% being screen or draw. So, you know, it's an indicator if South has been scouting him, which they have. They're just letting that clock go.
Christensen with the play clock down to 10 seconds comes to the sideline.
He's not in a big hurry, is he?
Now if they just see if they take the timeout. They will. They'll use a timeout. That's their first here in this second half. 41-27 is our score. 7:16 to play. Stay right there. We got some great football coming up.
We have timeout right.
Who are the City Colleges of Chicago?
City Colleges, world-class educators in the field of medicine.
My transfer to a four-year institution was seamless. After graduation, my salary increased by 76%.
The City Colleges of Chicago has an 89% job placement rate.
High-tech training you can afford.
The City Colleges of Chicago. Affordable academic excellence in a neighborhood near you.
You know, insurance can be confusing for most people if they've never had an opportunity to sit down and have it explained to them.
I'm a very good explainer. I explain everything in layman's terms because that's the way I understand things.
I want to make sure my customers understand exactly what they're buying.
We just need to take a little bit of time and explain it to them.
No gimmicks, no frills. I tell you how it is.
You have to really break it down so they can understand.
We have to make sure that our clients know that we can provide real answers.
This is my country.
And let them know there are no stupid questions.
Radco Supply, Owens Corning, and their suppliers congratulate this year's 8A football finals teams, the Lockport Porters and the Maine South Hawks. Continue to work hard on the field and in the classroom, and you'll be a winner each and every day. Oh, and remember to think pink. 41-27, Lockport uses their first timeout.
Lockport's coming out in an unbalanced line here, down to the left.
Christensen straight ahead. He needed a yard. I don't know that he got it. We'll see.
Awful close with that mark.
I think he has, but they will have to bring it across. Now, one thing that Lockport has been able to do, you know, we say that they will pass, they'll continue their offense going in an effort, to put some more points on the board and also, use some clock. What they do an excellent job of is making sure that 25-second play clock runs all the way down. Now, in high school stadiums, you don't have that clock.
That's a luxury.
So what you have as he gets the first down, what you have is a coach on the sidelines with a stopwatch. And Christensen will look over to the man with the stopwatch, and he'll say, okay, now go. Well, here, Christensen can look right down. He's got two big numbers down here in the north end zone.
Things have got so sophisticated in high school football.
Isn't it something?
The days of technology.
.6:58 and the clock runs.
I'm lucky I can get my email.
Christensen can wait another 17 seconds. He says, want to throw. Chased by Lavis. Christensen throws it up. Oh, my.
What a great effort by Lavis.
Ooh, Mike Lavis would not let him go. It's a dangerous pass thrown there by Christensen. Trudy, the closest man to the ball for the Hawks.
Well, he gets great pressure here right from the bottom of the screen. He just bull rushes right over and then just keeps the pressure right on him. And you can see the athleticism and the excellent feet that Christensen has to make that play and get out of a big loss.
How about that effort by Lavis? I mean, he's the man that's running downfield on 30-yard pass patterns, and then he comes in here and chases the quarterback all around. He's done that all night.
Let's see who the kids point. They point back and forth to each other. Red Rover, let Johnny come over. They got it. But initially there was no flag thrown until the kids started pointing. Did you notice that?
Yep. 5-yard walk-off will make it 2nd and 15. Last year, Brett Coy brought home a state championship to Lockport by virtue of a 35-14 win over Stevenson. He's keeping an eye on that clock that's stuck at 6:43. He has a 2-touchdown lead. Looking for DeCare. Just drifts away from him. He had his man beaten.
Again, a spot pass. It's a post and a flag, and he throws it before the cut, and he just got a little too much on it.
Had some very interesting weather conditions here this year, as we have every year. Today actually has been, you take away the wind, it's about as good as it's going to get on a Thanksgiving weekend. Crisp temperatures, the wind here has been a factor. We've seen it more of a factor, I think, in the kicking games and in the passing games as this day has progressed. Yesterday, of course, this field was snow-covered.
What a difference a day makes. 24 little hours.
3rd and 15.
Ooh.
That ball just touched off the fingertips of Dan Brady at the 20-yard line.
Should have been caught in my eyes. That was right on the money. We haven't seen many drops today.
No. Now Christensen to punt. 4th and 15. He will kick this away. He always has the option of reading the rush that he gets and responding to it, but not here.
Well, he does have the wind, and it's a great asset to have your quarterback as the punter because it creates an awful lot of pressure on the defense. Now there's new styles of punts where you actually roll out and you actually kick on the run.
This will hit at the 20, takes a good sideways hop as far as Lockport's concerned. Look at this. To the 5-yard line.
Can Christensen do anything else? I mean, he punts, he passes, he runs.
48 yards on the kick and a great spot where it ends up.
Now, if we talk to his grandma today, she'll probably say he made Thanksgiving turkey yesterday. I mean, he's done everything else this weekend.
And that's what grandmas do. Dave and Sarah, the hands in the pockets.
Little concern there.
Yeah. He has 95 yards to go.
Restart the clock to 6:10. Thank you.
95 yards to go. 41-27. Just one touchdown scored here in the second half. by Maine South. Now remember, this is a Maine South team that's been averaging 49.5 points per game in the playoffs. The last time they scored less than 35 points, that was in the second game of the season when they beat Warren 34-14. From the end zone. That was very, very close. A.J. Carroll thought he had a chance.
Well, they run motion out here to clear out a linebacker, but A.J. Carroll doesn't bite on it, and he comes underneath it right here. There he goes, A.J. Carroll, 5'7", 150-pound junior, and that would have been the backbreaker right there.
Big hit by LaGiglia.
Now one official is saying he caught it, and then the other one who was facing it, that he didn't control it, and it was a fumble, incomplete pass.
Derek Walsh took the hit, and he wanted to say at least I could get credit for reception. I'm going to get hammered like that.
The hit actually contributes right here. There was a catch, and that hit forced the fumble, so it was never really was a timing scenario. It wasn't really a fumble, it was an incomplete pass.
LaGiglia is coming up with a couple of big hits here in this second half.
Well, with top of the show, we talked about two of the best linebackers around, and at 6'2", 235, he can create quite a hit.
Here's third down. Price. It will be fourth down. Brian Schlitter, the intended receiver. Lave was there. And now with the ball on the 5-yard line, fourth down, 10 yards to go, 5:52 to play. You trail by 14 points. You're going against a 20-mile-an-hour wind. Dave and Sarah decides I have to send out my punting team.
No, he can't afford, I mean, if he gets it, that'd be great. But if he doesn't, he's really ended it for himself. So here, you know, you can punt it. You can hope for you know, they're going to put pressure on it. They really don't have anybody back at all to cover this.
Lockport playing this more as a regular defensive mode. And it is a fake. And Lockport is right there. They didn't buy that for a second.
There's no reason to.
Absolutely not. And Lockport now starting to smell it. And why not? 5:45 left. The ball sitting inside the 5-yard line. It's a matter of time here for the Porters.
Well, I'd be hard-pressed to say they're going to throw it in. I'd say they're going to draw, or quarterback draw, or right now he's going under center, so it's going to be the tailback.
Or himself. It will be Brady. No gain. Well, the interesting play call on the fake punt, not the fake punt part of it, but the type of fake punt that ran right into the middle of the Lockport defense, who was basically, they left their defensive unit on the field.
Yeah, there wasn't too much to guess about on that.
Maine South fans standing, but silent. Lockport fans standing. Richardson lets the play clock run down to the line of scrimmage, and that's all.
Personally, I think I'd bang Sleeve up into the line a couple of times, and I wouldn't have Christensen run with the ball.
Third and goal from the 3. They can run this down to about 4:20 on the big clock.
Right now they're down to 10 seconds. He's taking his time.
He will look to throw into the end zone. Got him, touchdown. George Cadlick, the reception. His second touchdown of the night. And that could just about do it.
Well, they're in their power look, and a little motion here. You can see the defense sliding over. He gives them the audible right there. Just throws a quick 3-step slant right underneath the coverage. He had the defensive back on his hip. The ball was thrown exactly where it has to be, low and away.
Ludwig chips it through.
And we got a roughing the kicker.
Kick is good. 48-21, 27 is our score, a 21-point difference with 4:17 to play. We'll take a break. Final 4:17 coming up.
People are busy with families and careers. They don't want to spend a lot of extra time taking care of their insurance needs.
My mom never puts me on hold, and my mom never says, can I just call you right back? I have something else that I need to do.
When you call us, you don't have to wait around. They're going to talk to a real person.
Right off the bat. Claims happen quickly because at 2 o'clock in the morning, when they have a pipe break, they want you there at 3 o'clock in the morning.
This is my country.
If I say I'm going to call you back, that doesn't mean next Tuesday.
The Daily Herald covers the big picture with a uniquely local focus. Take our award-winning sports section. Readers turn to the Daily Herald for the authoritative word on sports from preps to pros. Inject the provocative voices of Barry Rosner and Mike Imram, plus the Dean of High School columnist Bob Frisk. And you can understand why the Daily Herald offers Chicagoland's premier sports package. So whether you're looking to read about the pros or the preps, turn to the Daily Herald. The Daily Herald, big picture, local focus.
Need a truck? Call the red, white, and blue fleet from Elite Truck Rental. Elite's loaded with trucks in all sizes ready to serve you. Plus, at Elite Truck, your reservations are guaranteed, you're in and out fast, and you always get a great price.
It was a roughing the kicker call at the end of that extra point, so Lockport will have the ball teed up at the 45-yard line of Maine South. 4:17 to play, 48-27, a 35-point second half. The Porters outscoring the Hawks 35-7 here in these last 2 quarters.
This is a perfect spot for an onside kick. You're either going to pooch it or it's going to be a little onside kick.
We saw the special teams earlier, the way things played out, the block punt for a touchdown. Lockport recovered an effective onside kick earlier. They end the mystery.
I don't understand that. But I guess they want to give them the ball on the 20-yard line. Shouldn't say I don't understand it. I'm up here, they're down there.
Any other team, any other game, you might say, well, wrap it up, get that trophy ready, but you got a guy here, the Chicago Sun-Times Player of the Year, Sean Price, only the second junior ever to win that honor. Dick Butkus, the other. I think you say, you know what, we're going to play this 4:17 out and let it go. 3 timeouts remaining for the Hawks. Price is thrown for 335 yards. Intercepted for the 45-yard line. Weber, his second interception of the night. Looking to kill some time. Down he goes. Price looking to make something happen. Weber played some center field.
Well, he really gets some pressure right here. You can see it coming right in there, and he underthrows it. Besides the receiver getting kind of held up a little bit by the linebacker, he threw it right into the safety. And Rob Weber is smart enough to just run around a little bit and kill some time and go down.
36 pass completions now by both teams. Another record, an 8A record. Brady riding the hip. Dan Brady goes down before he goes out of bounds.
Staying inbounds is the key.
He followed number 61, John Driscoll, around the side.
Well, an offensive line of Lockport has really done a great job all night, as well as the Maine South offensive line. Unfortunately, defensive linemen and offensive linemen don't get the praise that they usually deserve.
Christensen, a little play fake in the backfield. Wrapped up short of the first down. Of course, he wraps both arms around that ball. There's no way he wants to give it up now. Lockport was the preseason #1 pick. Why not? They had just come off an undefeated state championship season in 2002. They held that #1 ranking until September 26th, when they lost to Lincoln Way East 23-20 as we look at the numbers between Price and Christensen.
That's amazing.
These guys are both coming back. You will read all about them. You will see them again next year playing for their respective schools.
Wouldn't it be something if they were both playing here again next year?
I am not going to make any predictions otherwise right now. You know, we talked about the loss Lockport suffered at Lincoln Way East, 23-20. Then another loss in the 8th week of the season, 38-37 at home with Flossmoor. That's their 2 losses. Brett Coy said, you know what? They were good losses. They did make us rethink, made the players refocus just a bit.
Well, they played in a very tough conference. And, you know, when you play in a tough conference like that, anything can happen on any given Friday or Saturday. And I think it did wake them up. Sometimes that, you know, they're going on the year before's laurels, and all of a sudden they have to come down to earth, and it recreates some team chemistry.
Well, and that is motivation to any team across the state. Lockport finished 3rd in the Sitka Blue Conference, and yet here they are 2 minutes and 22 seconds away from winning their 2nd straight championship.
Well, ironically enough, when we won the state championship in 2001, we were not the conference champions.
Right.
And we had won the conference championship 17 out of 18 years. So sometimes, yeah, it's a wake-up call. You know, you look back and your first goal, obviously, is to win the conference championship, and then after that would come the state championship. But, you know, if push came to shove and somebody said, what would you rather have in a given year? Would you rather win the conference championship this year or the state? I'd have to say the state.
I would think so. First down for Lockport. With 2 minutes to play. You know, and building on that thought, you'll recall in the early years of the state playoffs, only conference champions qualified for the playoffs. A team like Lockport here in 2003, a team like Donner South in 2001 would not have even been in the playoffs.
You're exactly right. And I also appreciate the fact that you were building on my thought. That rarely happens.
Did I build?
In my intellectual community.
Oh, I
rarely builds on any of my thoughts. Well, so I appreciate it.
Sure thing. Pleasure to accommodate you. Timeout called on the field with 1:57 left. And what more can Dave and Sarah say or do at this point? You know, I knew talking to Dave on Sunday that he was certainly concerned about Lockport, and why not? I mean, he had seen the films, he had seen them in person, he knew what they can do, but yet Dave and Sarah also knew that he had himself an outstanding team, and I think he came in here very confident, and well, he should. I'd like to remind you that any reuse of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Illinois High School Association and cross-broadcast sales is strictly prohibited.
I think, David, we've been very fortunate. We've had 2 outstanding games with the 6A game, and in this football game, we've really had 2 outstanding high school football games. And we've had a whole weekend of them.
I was going to say, personally for you and I, yes, it's been a great day, but for those people that have tuned in to every single one of these games, and I don't know why you wouldn't, it's been great all along. This tournament started here yesterday with the 1A game going into double overtime. We had another double overtime game in 7A, and then 2 outstanding games. Jack and I have called 6A and 8A. Carmel, the state champs there, and it started this afternoon with Joliet Catholic Academy winning their 11th.
Another timeout by Maine South.
You know, you feel for them as Mike Labus. One of the few times he's even come off the field, he feels for it. I'd like to remind you also that this IHSA broadcast is brought to you by Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick. And also by Chevrolet and your local Chevrolet dealers. Chevrolet, an official sponsor of the Illinois High School Football Championships. Thank you so much to everybody who has brought you really remarkable coverage when you think about it. 2 days, 12-plus hours every single day of non-stop coverage of high school football in Illinois. What a great way to wrap it up for the fans of this sport.
Well, you know, I look at this coverage as you and I, for example, being quarterbacks, but yet everybody else is the linemen, the cameramen that are doing all the hard work, the guys in the trucks. You know, we're getting the FaceTime on the camera, but those are the people that have really made it all happen. They've been in the trenches on a daily basis, and those are the linemen of television right there.
You know, and they love their work.
Look at that smile. That's a great smile, isn't it?
Neon lips. Now you look at all that. Now you put yourself in about a 20-mile-an-hour wind with wind chills in the lower teens. They love their work.
He's got a parachute on up there, too.
Thank you so much for all that you do to bring these broadcasts to the people of Illinois. Now it's just a matter of letting that clock spin down. Respect shown both ways. Why not? You know, again, you talk to both coaches as we come up here and actually what has become the soft part of the broadcast location in terms of the relative warmth that we've had here. But, you know, you take a look at these two teams. I'm talking to both coaches on Sunday after they knew who their opponent would be, the mutual respect they knew and showed at that time, the confidence that each coach had in his particular team. But it all plays out here because you transmit that respect to your players, and that's why we've seen nothing crazy going on between these players. We've seen the respect and obviously disappointment for Maine South as they see a perfect season come to a close here on this turf at Champaign.
Well, when you have class programs, that's exactly what happens.
Horners beginning their celebration. The offense comes onto the field for Maine South. Jake Christensen. Now hug from the defensive guys. Mike Schaub. They go to Levis. Levis will stay in bounds. The clock keeps moving. Maine South, if they want it, has one timeout left. They trail by 3 touchdowns with 40 seconds to play.
They're going to do everything they can to score here. And I think that's great. They're going to go out the same way they came in with all guns blazing.
Rice will look deep. Nearly intercepted it is. Picked off by Tim Bills. And for a Lockport defense that held Maine South to just 7 points in the second half. What a way to cap it as we have flags thrown at the end of that play. Did not see it on camera, a nice little moment at about the 35-yard line. Louis Borsellino.
Personal foul, black, with an ejection.
Not a pleasant way to end the ball game in that respect, but I was watching while this was going on at about the 35-yard line. Louis Borsellino, a defensive back, came onto the field. He greeted his teammate, Alberto DeSico, just embraced him in a big old hug at about the 35-yard line. Nobody was within 20 yards of them. It was just their own little moment right here on the turf of Memorial Stadium.
There's a guy that's done a great job with the Lockport program. He's really got him on a roll. Brett Coy's done a great job.
The knee will end it. The Lockport Porters have gone back-to-back in Class 8A. The state championship trophy remains in Lockport. 48-27 over the undefeated, until now, Maine South Hawks.
The final play in the 8A state championship, Lockport 48, Maine South 27.
8 with Blake